Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface, and I'm going to bring you another one of my solo 5-person heroic, so current content, Mists of Pandaria dungeons. Yeah. Today is the turn of Gate of the Setting Sun, and there's a very specific reason why I want to bring you this one, which will become apparent later on in the video. But because I've got a point that I want to discuss, I say point, might turn out to be a rant, might turn out to be a whinge, but let's just say, considering it's the start of the video, it's a point that I'd like to make. So there's a very specific reason why I want to do Gate of the Setting Sun. I'm not just doing them willy-nilly. And this is actually the second dungeon that I did after I did Temple of the Jade Serpent. And when I managed to solo that, and then suddenly I got the idea in my head, why don't I try and solo all of them? This was the very next dungeon that I came to. And because I've got a point that I'd like to discuss with you today, I'm going to bring you the dungeon in its entirety. I'm going to bring you all 12, 13 minutes of the video. Okay, so you're going to see trash und all. Not sped up, not edited, not phased, nothing. You're going to see the whole shebang. Okay. Are we sitting comfortably? Right. There's something about this dungeon. So this dungeon, this 5-person heroic dungeon, was available to do in this current format that I'm doing now on the 25th of September 2012. So you may think, okay, Az, what's your point? The point there is this dungeon was available on launch of Mists of Pandaria. That was the launch date of Mists of Pandaria, and it was available to do in 5-person heroic mode on that day. You know, okay, not many people were level 90 on day 1, but it was available to do on that day. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So it was first and original 5.0 content. And the big thing for me is there is a story here. There is a story in Gate of the Setting Sun. And there is a story which just kind of, in my eyes anyway, again, this is just my point of view, not necessarily shared by you. You could have a complete different contrary point of view to me. But there is a story that's being told here on the very, very launch of Mists of Pandaria, to me, that just epitomises the mess that Mists of Pandaria was. And fingers crossed, it will be over sooner rather than later, with BlizzCon round the corner and the announcement of the next X-Pack. I can only pray, not in a nasty way, just in a nice way, trust me, because I'm still having hope that the next X-Pack could be something of worth. But I'm just seriously hoping that when they announce the next X-Pack in BlizzCon in a few weeks' time, they're going to say something special. They're going to say something special like, and we're looking to start beta testing immediately with a launch date planned for March 2014. You know, something like that, that can get your juices flowing, bearing in mind that they're not competing against any other MMO anymore. They are competing against the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. That is their new competition. And it is stiffer competition than any other MMO could ever provide to them. Oh, look at that! Floating shadow pan. But it's the story element of this, which, again, just makes me think that I don't believe that a lot of the developers in Mists of Pandaria were on the same page. I genuinely don't. There seems to be some very weird communication elements in Blizzard of late. When we had the announcement of patch 5.4 and when they were discussing patch 5.4, one of the devs came out and said, you will not find out who the war chief is, who the new war chief of the Horde is going to be in patch 5.4. Those details will be released in the next patch linking to the next X-Pack. And then a few weeks later, it was suddenly announced that yes, we would actually find out. with about a week to go of launch of 5.4, we would actually find out who the next war chief was going to be. So it just seemed very bizarre that there was an announcement made that we weren't going to find out, and then there was an announcement made that we are going to find out. To me, that just kind of epitomised the communication within Blizz. Maybe it's not all quite there. And yes, they've gone through a buyout recently, and they've made themselves independent once more, whatever that may mean for us as the player. But all that aside, there is a story going on in Gate of the Setting Sun, and the story is quite dramatic, as you can see from what's been going on around me. We have battlements on fire, we have battlements being destroyed, we have reams and reams of Shadowpan soldiers fighting off the assault of the Mantid. And this assault is fierce, and this assault has left scars on the Gate of the Setting Sun, and it's left scars within the Shadowpan. But on top of all of that, as I take on the second of the 4 bosses, and I will be standing in as much poison as they will allow me to, because it doesn't hurt anything. Am I going down in health? Is my pet going down in health? No. Anyway. There is a key element in Gate of the Setting Sun. A massive key element. And it happens on the 4th and the final boss. And what that element is the Gate of the Setting Sun, not the dungeon, the physical Gate of the Setting Sun is destroyed. It's destroyed, and this colossal creature finds its way inside. Now, these gates are humongous. They're not your IKEA MFI knockoffs, yeah? It's not as if you can phone up Bob the Builder, as he's actually dead, the boss, but he's got to go through his thing. It's not as if you can phone up Bob the Builder and say, me back doors have been smashed in. Not in a good way either. Can you come and fix them, please? Can't do that. These doors are like 100 foot high. 20 foot wide. They are absolutely colossal, and they were destroyed, smashed through. The creature comes in, and that ends up being the final boss of this dungeon. And all this, remember, as Belle climbs up the wardrobe behind me and meows, all this happened on the 25th of September 2012. Launch date of Mists of Pandaria. So what's the gripe? What could possibly make me say that this is all higgledy-piggledy, that the communication levels aren't there, that this is a bit of a mess? Well, as soon as you finish the dungeon, there's no repercussion. There is zero repercussion, and it just epitomised 5.0. It epitomised the grind nature of 5.0. You finish this dungeon, you complete this story that's going on here, where the Mantid and the Shadowpan have clashed, and they've clashed viciously, nastily, and there has been loss for sure on both sides. Significant loss on both sides. But you complete the dungeon, you walk out the door, and lo and behold, the gates of the setting sun are miraculously healed. There was no progression. And it didn't make any sense. So I said to myself, okay, well, maybe come patch 5.1, or maybe there'll be a hotfix or something like that, which will just escalate the area. So when 5.1 arrives, then the gates will be destroyed, because everybody should have done Gate of the Setting Sun by then, or the vast majority of people would have done Gate of the Setting Sun by then. And as we've seen with the phasing technology, it's not a difficult thing for them to do. So I thought, yes, come the next patch, we will see that the Gate of the Setting Sun's been destroyed. A lot of the Gate of the Setting Sun, the actual battlement area, has been destroyed, which we've seen happen in this dungeon. And we will progress into the next stage, which I imagine would be the Mantid starting to push forward in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. But no, none of this whatsoever, as I tackle the third boss and just allow my pet this time to stand in the poison, losing 0 0 health. Look at it. It's on 418k. It's gone down 5k. And that's only because I was taking care of the ads and not healing up. My healing on the pet is outweighing the damage of the boss. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that too much. But we got nothing. Going back to what I was saying, we got nothing. So you complete the dungeon with all its complexities, with all the destruction that happened here. You leave the dungeon and everything is just back to normal. Nothing changed whatsoever, and it made no sense to me, because this surely is quite a significant moment. The Shadow Pan have been trying to hold on to the Gate of the Setting Sun, to the garrison outside for a long time, and here we see in this dungeon that is torn asunder. Absolutely torn asunder. As I'm making my way now down into the courtyard itself, and we can see from hither the damage that has been done. So this lack of progression in storyline for me, like I said, this is maybe a rant for me. You know, it may mean zero to you whatsoever. I might have been walking to the wall there because I was kind of listening to a little bit of Globe on YouTube, and might have been paying more attention to screen 2 as opposed to screen 1. But there we can see the Gates of the Setting Sun ripped apart, damaged and broken. And yeah, those aren't getting fixed, you know. They aren't getting fixed. So, yes, some people might think this is very mute. This is a very unnecessary point. They don't care. Well, they got broken. Who cares? Whatever. But to me, it summed up the lack of direction. You have this big moment of storyline which destroys everything here, which allows the Mantid and the vast Mantid army outside a point with which to advance, and nothing ever became of it. Now, we could look a little bit more into this, or I could just, you know, I could put my tinfoil hat on. Blizzard like that saying of late. They like tinfoil hat as conspiracy theory. But they could have had plans. But due to the fact that they hemorrhaged so many subscribers in the opening 9 months of Mists of Pandaria, remember, losing nearly a quarter of their client base in 9 months, maybe they decided to scrap a lot of the ideas and just say, right, we need to just scrap that. This 2-year X-Pack is suddenly now a 15-month X-Pack. It's suddenly an 18-month X-Pack at best. And we need to concentrate on the next thing. But to me, it just didn't make any sense to have a big storyline like this go on within a dungeon, and an exciting storyline to boot as well, and then followed up by everything returning to normal as soon as you left. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed the video as I show you the path which has been left open to the Mantid. So please do like, comment and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook and also twitch.tv/Eel versus Babyface for live streaming. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon, and please also watch my Let's Play Batman Arkham Origins. I really appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.